Today I want to talk to you about how to put discipline on autopilot, how to create a daily operating system for yourself that can build unshakable results. And many of you know discipline, it's not about white knuckling it through your day and surviving on that sheer willpower, coffee, caffeine, cold brews, whatever it takes, right? It's about building systems that do the heavy lifting for you. Think of it as setting up your life so you don't have to decide to be disciplined. You just are by default, and you get rid of all of that emotions and all of that thought process, and you just go into action. Sounds easy, right? In other words, you basically need a daily operating system. Just like if you were running a business, you need an operating system for your life, how you function, how you get through the day, whether it's family, your work, your job, your business. You need a daily operating system. And it's basically a personal routine that's so dialed in that it runs like your favorite productivity app, but even better because it's running you. It's running your personal app. So here's how to build one that can transform discipline from a struggle into a pure superpower. And yes, we've got the science and the statistics to back it up. So the first step is you're going to want to know your brain's battery. And what I mean by this is you need to know when and how you operate as an individual, because we're all so different, right? So let's start with the science. Willpower is finite. According to a landmark study by Roy Baumeister, your self-control works like a muscle and it gets fatigued with overuse. So that came also from the Journal of Personal and Social Psychology. That's why that most disciplined people, they don't rely on willpower. And who really has that anyway, right? I mean, I don't wake up in the morning feeling motivated, like I want to crush the world, or even though I have a good time doing these videos, that I want to have all this structure, have all these things to do, right? It would be great to just like sleep in, relax, there's so many things that we have on our plates that we want to accomplish. And we don't necessarily always have that willpower to go. But those who are disciplined, they don't rely on that. They engineer their days to reduce their decisions. And you need to almost pre-decide the basic things in life. Maybe some things, it's almost like creating your own daily operating system. Like there's an operating system on your computer, right? You need to pre-decide the basics. Maybe wake up time, workout windows, meals, key priorities, just so that your brain isn't burning fuel for the small stuff, right? We always say we don't want to sweat the small stuff. So let's make the small stuff easier by just pre-deciding what that looks like. Maybe, figuring out when in the day and how much time that we want to do these things. A second step is time block like a boss. According to Cal Newport, who is the author of Deep Work, time blocking can increase productivity by up to 80% compared to taskless. And I have tried this out personally. I used to have the big to-do list, and I found by the end of the day, I'd get to, 5, 6 o'clock and really, got caught up in so many other things, so much other minutia of the day, right? But I started just testing some time blocking, putting out like 90 minutes in my calendar, shutting my phone off and doing all of those things. And it really does help a lot. And especially if you can decide for the week or even for the next day what your priorities are, it really helps you to feel more accomplished. You might not get everything done like you wanted to, but you are making, even if it's baby steps, towards productivity. So create those blocks of focus, even breaks, admin time, and your deep work especially, and schedule that you only know you. For me, it's first thing in the day. For some people, they're night owls, or they like, after they put their kids to bed, that's when they can really think and focus. So schedule that when it makes the most sense. And a pro tip here is schedule the hardest task during your peak mental hours. And so for most people, it could be early to mid-morning, but like I mentioned, everyone is so different in your schedule, your priorities, your work schedules, that you do you, but you know when your high time is in your day. And so a daily operating move can be use the 3D time block method, which is design, do, and debrief. So design means design the day in the morning or design the day before, whatever works for you. You're going to want to do the work in batches. So break up your work, whatever you're trying to accomplish, break it up in, small batches. And maybe at the end of the week or even at the end of the day, debrief what worked, what didn't, what really, moved the needle and what really didn't. Or maybe there's times of the day that you're maybe heavily more interrupted by others than, other times of the day. So you might want to take a look at just, moving things around, even your deep work time. Step 3 is ritualize the first and the last hour. So Harvard Business Review reports that consistent morning and evening routines, they reduce stress, they improve focus, and they build long-term resilience. And that means they're like your bookends of the day. Your wake up and your wind down. And they're prime real estate for anchoring your discipline. So a daily operating move can be in the mornings, you have maybe 3 habits at max. Think, movement, mindset, mission. So some examples could be stretching, journaling, working out, putting in your top 3 priorities for the day. And then in the evening, it's kind of like a brain dump. Maybe a screen detox, like put your phone away, at least before you go to bed for a little while, and set up tomorrow's plan. Even if it's you're jotting it down in a journal or on a piece of paper of what do you want to focus on the next day and what are the things that went well, that didn't go well for the day, and some things you want to change for the next day. And you'll sleep a lot better too, because sometimes when you journal at night, you get out all the frustrations from the day and you put them away on paper, get off your phone, and you get a good night's sleep. And that's the most important. But discipline, it loves predictability, of course. Step number 4 is track it or trash it. So a study from the American Psychological Association found that people who track their habits are 2 times more likely to stick to them. I have had this experience. It's like anything else, you're going to work out, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. But when I started putting a tracker, it puts it in a visual perspective for me. And I almost feel guilty if I don't check the box each day of getting those habits done. So check it out. And as James Clear, author of Atomic Habits, reminds us, you do not rise to the level of your goals, you fail to the level of your systems. How true, right? So a daily operating system move for you might be use a simple habit tracker, even if it's a piece of paper, or if you like going on your laptop, make a little spreadsheet or something, even if you print it out and it's something that you physically check off, or even a sticky note with boxes on the will-dos. And here's a bonus, reward streaks with something fun, not just another to-do list. So sometimes we put these to-do lists together, all the things we want to accomplish, right? But we need to celebrate them. We need to have fun, and we need to at least high-five ourselves, because it is a journey. And a lot of the things we're working on are really hard and they're really emotionally taxing. So give yourself a break, go get an ice cream, do something fun, just to reward yourself for the hard work that you're putting in, because you are. And some final thoughts here is design beats discipline all the way. So let's stop glorifying the hustle and start optimizing the frameworks that make showing up inevitable, because your future self doesn't need more motivation. It really doesn't, because it's not out there. But you need systems that make your discipline automatic, take the emotion out of it, and make your life easier. So start small. Set one routine this week. Nail it, and then stack to the next one. You don't have to go all in. I'm one of these people that goes all in. When I decide to do something, it's like my whole life shifts. I'm really bad at that. But sometimes it's too much. It's really too much. And if you take some small steps, it's a lot easier for your mind and your body to adjust to many of the things that you're trying to change in a positive way. So take it slow. And before you know it, you won't just be disciplined, you'll be totally unstoppable. So are you ready to build your personal daily operating system? Let me know in the comments what things have worked for you, what things that maybe I mentioned on this video that you want to try. If this content was valuable and helpful, please consider sharing and subscribing. And if you have any ideas and things you would like me to talk about in the area of discipline systems and some things that I'm working on that have been really helpful, let me know in the comments. I'm always happy to build something that is very around the topics that you want to hear about. So have a great day. Thank you for joining. Share, like, and subscribe, and we will see you on the next video.